The problem is called letter count 1. Have the function letter count take a string parameter and then return the first word with the greatest number of repeated letters. For example, today is the greatest day ever should return greatest because it has two E's and two T's, and it comes before ever, which also has two E's. If there are no words with repeating letters, return -1. Words will be separated by spaces. So it is going to be hello apple pie. It will return hello because it has two L that is repeating, and it is the first one. So it will return the first one. Though if there are no repeating words, then it will return -1. So here is how we are going to tackle this problem. Let's say we have a word, hello world. We are going to first split the words, and after doing that, we are going to iterate through uh, each word. But first, after splitting the words, we are going to take two variables. In one variable, we are going to call it result. We will keep the word that is the resulted word, and we are going to take max count, which will change with each iteration. So after we split the word, we are going to traverse through each characters, and we are going to use char count object, and in that object we are going to keep a track of how many letters are being repeated. So if H is there, the first iteration, H is going to be 1, E is going to be 1. But if we see that H is in multiple times, then the value of H will increase. So this is the plan. And we are going to use an if loop if we see that if that H1, for example, if that value exists, and if that value is greater than the max count, which initially is 0, and if the character count is greater than 1, if um, H is more than 2 or 3, because each letter will come once, then we are going to make sure that max count will be the value of this one. It will max count from 0 will become 3, and the result is going to be this word, the word that I'm iterating over. Otherwise, we are going to first initially say that the value of the character is going to be 1. And lastly, we will going to return -1 or the result. Now let's code it up so it will be easier for everyone to understand. Const words, we are going to take the string and split it with a gap. If I console log it, you can see our words are now in an array. So we are going to take let result is going to be an empty string. Let max count will be 0. Now that we have our word, we are going to iterate over them. We are going to use a for loop. Const for word of words, we are going to loop through each word. Const character count, char count is going to be an empty object. Now I'm going to count the occurrences of each letter. So another for loop, const char of word, if char count, if I find it in my, if the character, I find it in my object, then that means I'm finding it twice. So I'm going to increase the value by 1. And then if I see that if that value char count char is greater than the max count and char count is greater than 1, then I can be sure that max count is going to be char count char, and the result is going to be the word. Now, this is if. Now, if I don't find it, what will be the else? Else is going to be first initially there will be nothing. So, the first is going to be equal 1. Now that I have my for loop over, this for loop over, I'll either have my result return result or -1. So I'm getting -1 here. I'll check what I have done wrong. So I have made a mistake here in this else statement. It should be here because if this is the if I don't find the character count, what am I going to do? I'm going to increase it by 1. So it should work right now. Yes, it passed the test cases. Now let's submit.